Scorpio, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. My name is Carol. And Scorpio, this is a general reading for July 2024 for you. And in this month's reading, we're going to be doing the Hermit's Lantern. And this reading in particular really takes a deep dive into shadow work. So before you click off, if you're unfamiliar with shadow work or shadow, I've left a really good video in my description box below that will really help you with how to do shadow work. It's a compilation that I've put together on one video of how I've done shadow work myself, and in particular the last 7 years of my healing journey. And that's what shadow work is. It's just really taking a deep dive into what needs healing. And so this July, we're going to be looking at that. And we're going to start off by asking the tarot to show us what's coming up from your shadow to heal. And then number 2, I'm going to look at what the origin of this is. So it's really going to get specific for me in number 2. Number 3 is going to be looking at how is this showing up in your daily life? Because if you do not heal what's in your unconscious, what's in your shadow, it's going to keep coming up for you, and it shows up in patterns in our life. Sometimes we don't understand, why am I attracting the same types of people in my life? Well, it's because there's something that you need to heal that's sitting in your shadow. Number 4 is going to be, how can you heal this? And the tarot is going to give you a little bit of advice of how you can start to heal this. And then finally, number 5 is what I call kind of my hope spot, where I give you a little outlook on how is your life going to change once you start to do the work and once you begin the healing of this. And that's nice to know, because a lot of times on this journey we think that we're getting nowhere and why am I doing this? And we can go cycle through periods of that, in our hopelessness, thinking we're getting nowhere on this healing journey. But we are. We're always going, we're always healing, just not as fast as we want it to go, maybe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by pulling some cards from the Tarot of the Abyss. And then I'm going to clarify that with the Rider-Waite deck. And then I'll pull an oracle card from the Secret Creators Oracle deck at the end. So let's begin for you, Scorpio, with some cards from the Tarot of the Abyss, which is my favorite and only black and white deck that I own. I'm really scared to buy another one because I like this one so much. So let's begin here with asking the tarot for some... Yeah, we're going to start off with what's coming up from Scorpio's shadow to heal this month. And I'm just going to ask for one card, but it wants to give me 2. So the King of Cups is the first one in reverse, and right behind it is Temperance card. Temperance card behind the King of Cups. Interesting. All right, so let's give me a little bit more information on what the origin is of this King of Cups and the Temperance card. And these cards want to come out right here. You have the 7 of Cups and the Magician in reverse. Okay, and we'll pull some clarifiers for those in a minute. In the 3rd spot, can you tell me how this is showing up in Scorpio's life right now? You have the Knight of Swords. 4th spot, how will Scorpio's life change once they start to... I'm ahead of myself. How can Scorpio heal this right here? How can Scorpio heal this? One card, please. Okay, 10 of Wands. And in the middle, how will Scorpio's life change once they begin to heal this? One card, please. Now, these 2 wanted to come out for sure. I felt them wanting to come out, so this one was on top. The Ace of Wands in reverse, and 5 of Swords. Okay, so let's clarify these with the Rider-Waite deck. quick shuffle here. And one more. Okay, so can you tell me some more about the King of Cups and the Temperance card, please? Try that one more. Okay, this is the Five of Cups in reverse. We have a story. So we have the High Priestess in reverse. More here, even more. The Knight of Swords in reverse. Wow. Okay, sometimes it's more than what I think it is. The Seven of Swords. And one more card over here, which is the Judgment card. Wow. So this is what's coming up from your shadow to heal. There's a lot here. And it could be, one particular incident really, but there's just a bit of a story around it. So, and then, a little bit more clarity here. So can you tell me more about Seven of Cups, the origin of this, and the Magician? Maybe it's a shorter story. Since, I took half my deck for the first. Tell me one or two more cards here for this. I don't usually have this much trouble with the deck, so let's see. Oh. Okay, here we go. Two cards, the Seven of Pentacles. And, see, I thought it was only one, but Five of Swords in reverse. Okay, so let's go with, tell me some more about the Knight of Swords over here. 1 to 2 cards, please, for a bit of clarification. Six of Pentacles. One more card here for that. Okay, we'll try it one more time. And Ace of Wands. The Ten of Wands. Tell me some more about the Ten of Wands. Two of Cups in reverse. And the Ace of Swords this time. So a couple aces here on the table. Oh, here's another ace over here. The Ace of Wands in reverse here. It's interesting. Okay. Can you tell me some more about the Ace of Wands and the Five of Swords, please? We have the Fool card and the Ten of Cups in reverse. And Oracle card at the end from the Sacred Creators deck. I will pull. All right. And I'll also suggest when I'm done the reading, I will suggest some videos for you from my other channel, Carol Cares, that are really, really will pertain to focus on what you need to it will help you heal, videos to help you heal what's coming up in this reading. So let's begin, Scorpio, by looking at the Seven of Swords card I have out here. That's the overriding energy. So in January 2024, I put out a reading, your yearly reading. And in that reading, it's in my description box below if you want to look at it. But in that reading, for the month of July, I pulled out the Seven of Swords for you this month. So the Seven of Swords really tells us to, if you look at this individual here, he's running away with these swords, and quite dangerously, because he's carrying them by the tips here. And so what are the swords? The swords are our mental belief systems, what we believe about ourselves. It's all about our mental thoughts, our mental body. And so this individual has run away with, inherited, was given these mental thoughts, these mental belief systems about themselves when they were younger, and they continue to believe it. They run their life carrying these dangerous belief systems about themselves, and they're not true because they're what people told us. And so this is going to really focus on as an overriding energy about, what sort of belief systems are you telling yourself this month? And we're going to look at how that's coming up from your shadow. So we have a long story here, so let's try to make a long story short. But the King of Cups is the first thing that comes out in reverse. And the King of Cups, kings in my deck talk about our masculine side of us, the masculine part of us. And we all have a masculine part and we all have a feminine side to us. Has nothing to do with gender. All of us have feminine qualities and male qualities. And the king in particular, the masculine side of us, is our ego self and all the qualities that come with that. And our ego self will, because it's the King of Cups, cups has to do with our emotions. And the masculine side of us can often, our ego self especially, will downplay our emotions, want nothing to do with emotions. The king, our ego self is absolutely petrified of emotions. So would be very much someone that when we're run by our ego, we're run by our mind. It's very much we believe what we tell ourselves. And here's the Seven of Swords coming in. We believe what we were told when we were younger, and we live up in our head. And so this is what's coming up for you right here is, I think this ego is standing here right at the beginning to tell us that it's really blocking everything that is coming up afterwards here. And so what are you blocking with your ego self? What sort of things are you telling yourself? The Temperance card comes right behind it. And the Temperance talks about the middle ground. Talks about a lot of times, tarot readers will say that, you need to wait. But for me, I see like Temperance is that middle ground of dipping your toe into the water of your emotions, finding the middle ground here, because I think this already, I'm seeing it's time to move out of your head and these things that you keep telling yourself, Scorpio. But now trying to get back into our body and getting in touch with some of these emotions, because our truth about ourselves doesn't live up here. It lives in our body. The truth is in our body here. And so we're trying to get to some middle ground here, because the Five of Cups is coming up next as clarification. It's our first card here of many. And you can see this individual here, if in an upright position, really focused on those Three of Cups that have spilled here, and not willing to look at those other two cups, those other two emotions. And so I'm seeing here that this card speaks to me of this individual that really is holding their head like this. It speaks to me of shame, of a lot of shame, of loss, of hopelessness feeling. And this is really in reverse here. And so this ego self of yours does not want you to get in touch with these feelings of shame that's coming up right now from your shadow. And the High Priestess card is in reverse. And because of that, because your ego self is in charge, your mental thoughts here are in charge, your High Priestess is blocked as well. And who is the High Priestess? Well, she's the first half of the feminine energy, this huge, she's from the major arcana. It's a huge universal force here, and she represents our inner guidance, our inner knowing. There is a part of you that knows, an inner deep part of you that knows that these things that you believe about yourself, you know, the shame that's coming up here about who you really are, and these things that you believe about yourself, it's not true. And there's an inner part that knows that's coming up right now. But this ego self doesn't want you to touch it. And the other side, the other card that's coming up is the Knight of Swords, right behind everything here. And the Knight of Swords, the knights of my deck is that, I call them my freedom fighters. They're the ones that are fighting for freedom. They're the ones that are fighting for authenticity, to be who you are. And that's coming up as well. And it's the sword, right? We're talking about lots of swords here, because swords is your mental energy again. They're fighting for your authenticity and who you are. And this is all coming up for you this month. And here is the Seven of Swords. I don't make this shit up. Here you have this overriding energy of this Seven of Swords. And guess what's coming up for you in your shadow is the Seven of Swords. It is time now to start to look at these belief systems, Scorpio, that you have inherited, that you have been told when you were younger, that are coming up from your shadow now to heal. Here's the freaking Judgment card. Here's the card that says we're going to get to the truth of this, because the Judgment card speaks about these people that are being reborn, coming out of their coffins. For too long now, Scorpio, you have been sitting here believing everything that you were told when you were younger. And that is how you are living your life. But what's happening here is, you know what? It's time now. It's time to stop listening to this King of Cups that's sitting here and preventing you to start feeling, to start finally feeling, getting back into your body and start feeling some of these emotions that you've buried, like shame. That really is an emotion that is a big lie that people told you when you were younger of who you were. And so we're going to get to the bottom of this month. You're going to get to the bottom of this. And let's look at this origin of all of this that's been coming up for you, that's coming up for you this July. Well, here's the Seven of Cups. Here's someone that's very much, the Seven of Cups speaks about, well, the seven in particular, that number is very much an introspective, a very self-aware card. And there's so many emotions here. You have so many emotions, and you had so many emotions as a child. So many of them. But it's kept you now up in your head, because I think as a child you had all these emotions, but not really allowed to feel all of them. And very confusing time of your life when you had all these emotions when you were younger. And maybe you were one of those kids that just was called sensitive, you know. And I hate that expression, because that just means you're feeling everything when you were younger. Maybe you call yourself an empath, where you feel a lot of other people's emotions, but the emotions you really, really need to feel are your own. It's time for you to get back into your body and start to feel your own emotions. The Magician card comes out here. The Magician is number 1 in the major arcana, a very powerful manifester. And it's here to tell you that, you know, in an upright position, we have everything inside of us, heart-centered, everything inside of us to be able to feel our emotions, our own inner guidance. We have everything inside of us. But there's a real resistance here to believing that once you get back into your body, you can do all of this. You can feel all of this. You couldn't when you were younger, but you can now, because when you were younger, that was all blocked. You weren't allowed. You were told that, you didn't have what it takes. You weren't allowed to feel this. That's what you were told. And in your shadow as well, what the origin is of this, well, here's the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles talks about, again, it's the Pentacles, so it's that grounding, being in your body. And 7 talks about, going inwards, but it also talks about feeling like this is it. This is it. Like, you felt when you were younger that you didn't have what it took. You weren't allowed to feel these emotions. This was it. And you kind of like something happened to you where you were told, you weren't allowed, that was it. You weren't allowed to feel. And this last card here explains a bit more. It's the 5 of Swords. Swords, again, is that mental energy. I want you to look closely at this card in an upright position. Look at the jagged clouds there. There's something kind of not really, you can't really trust this situation, and particularly you can't trust that person at the front here. And I call this my bullying card. He's bullied his way through to getting these extra swords here. And what has he done? Well, look at this particular individual at the back. Look at this particular, he's just hiding his face in shame, right? And so this is a card for you again to look at your shame that has been blocked. This is the second time I'm seeing here where, because you were not allowed to feel, you were told when you were younger that, you couldn't trust your inner guidance here, because you had all these emotions that wanted to come out when you were younger. You were trying to feel your way through your life, but you were told, do not trust those emotions. And so you put them all away. You put them all away. You piled them up in a big pile and you shoved them away somewhere. But underneath all of that, underneath that pile of emotions here that you wanted to feel, because you weren't allowed to, is the shame. And that's what comes up. That's what came out. The first card that came out here for clarification here was our shame. And so I understand why your overriding energy is you are staying in your head, because the emotion of shame is just shitty. It just feels terrible. And it really is the emotion that every single one of us has. It was an emotion that we weren't born with. It was handed down to us. And we carry it. It's heavy. We just carry it around with us. And we believe that that's us. We believe that what we've been told and what we believe in our heads is us. And so how is this showing up in your, I'm going to say your shame? How is this showing up in your daily life here? Well, you have this Knight of Swords. First card that comes out for us. And like I said, the Knight is, what was the other Knight you had? You had the Knight of, the Knight of Swords. It was in reverse here. So how is this showing out up in your life? Well, here it comes up again in an upright position. It wants freedom. It wants freedom to be who you are. You're wanting to figure out who you are. I want you to imagine, this is a part of us, this part that wants freedom, that Knights, they want freedom through their authenticity. That's how we get free. We get free from finding out who we really are, cutting through the bullshit. This is the sort of cutting through the bullshit. This is what this particular Knight wants to do, to find out who you are. And so there is a real drive here on your part. It's like the drive of it's a teenage part. If you think of a teenager when they were younger, and all, maybe this was you. Maybe when you were younger, maybe there was something you wanted to do as a teenager. But think of when teenagers, when they're younger and they want to do something, and they're told no. that they're not allowed to, or they're controlled by other people in their life. They're quite angry, aren't they? And they feel quite hopeless when things like that happen. So maybe you're feeling anger, you're feeling hopeless, because this authenticity, this sword is coming out right now in your life, and you're wanting to get to the truth about who you are. These belief systems that you've been carrying around right here, this shame that you've been carrying around, it's time for us to get to the bottom of this and figure out who you really are. And here's the Six of Pentacles here. Here's the card that really explains a lot about your situation, your daily life. How's it showing up for you? Well, here's a card about, you got to think of the Pentacles. The Pentacles talk about our health. They have everything to do about our body, our material world, how we show up in the world, everything to do with being grounded, and our self-worth. Our self-worth. And so this particular shame right here is really affecting your self-worth and who you really are, because you have this beggar here, these two beggars that are asking for some coins, pentacles. And this individual, here's the balance scale here, it's going to weigh out. This particular individual says, I think I'm worth, 4 coins. Well, here you go. I'll weigh out 4 coins for you. If you think you're worth 4 coins, you're going to get 4 coins. Well, I think I'm worth 3. Well, here you go. Here's 3. Neither one of them asked for 100 coins or 150 coins, or just 4 and just 3. And so this speaks about, it's number 6, so it has a duality to it. It's almost like that thing of, if you feel that you're worth this, if you've been living your whole life with this shame and telling yourself that this is what you're worth, well, this is how it's going to show up in your life. You're going to continue to invite the same type of people in your life that are going to treat you like the way that you feel. And maybe you're struggling with a financial situation, and our financial situation is always related to something when we were younger. So if you're struggling with a financial situation, it's always related to something when you were younger. Or even if you have lots of money, but it's still not bringing you what you want. And sometimes there can be a real fear behind what would happen if I lost that money, right? So there's a lot around money here too. So really it's showing up with your self-worth is coming up here, that whatever it is, and this is a general reading, but it's showing up for you right now. And in particular, the Ace of Wands is, how is this showing up in your life? We have this Ace of Wands here. The Ace of Wands is a new beginning. It's an offer. It's a gift from the universe. The universe says, there is a new direction for you here. There's a new direction that you need to look at, and you need to take from the universe. The universe wants to offer you a new direction now, right? You've lived out of your head for so long with these belief systems and this shame. Let's try to turn this here. So how are you going to heal this? How are you going to turn it? How are you going to take this new direction for you? Well, here's 10 of Wands. This is the end of a cycle. Here's the Wands. Here's these, you've been trying all your life here to take your life into a new direction. You've been dealing with this self-worth, this low self-esteem, and how it's been coming into your life over and over and over again, and permeates it. It affects everything you do in your life. You've been trying so hard, and you're at the end of your rope now. Well, how are we going to deal with this? Because this is, a real burden card here. Well, the universe says you're going to deal with it one log at a time here. It's not going to come at once, but it's going to be a process. It's going to be a process, but you're going to have to, we're going to take this into a different direction for you, but we're going to do it a little bit at a time. And we're going to start off this new direction. We're going to start off with how you're going to heal this. Well, here's the number 2 card. And this is like the beginning of the cups. And here's a little exchange here, very healing exchange between 2 individuals. Here's the Caduceus at the top, very healing. So it's a very vulnerable, a very intimate exchange here. Oh, what does this mean? Well, we're going to start off with finding out who we are. We're going to start an intimate relationship with ourselves. We're going to start to get vulnerable. And how do we do that? How do we start to get vulnerable with ourselves? How do we start to really find out who we are? Well, we do it through journaling. We do it through getting quiet. We do it through learning about how to ground ourselves, getting back into our body, and start to have this inner conversation with ourselves. Find out, why do I feel this way about myself? What have I been told about my shame when I was younger? And how do I heal this? Well, you're going to find, here's a gift from the universe, another ace. So you have, I said, 3 aces on the table. This is about, you're going to cut through this bullshit. You're going to finally find the truth. This is the sword of authenticity. This is finding out there's 2 sides to a sword. 2. You've got the side that you've been told all your life, that you believe. And then you've got this other side that you have this inner knowing. You have this inner knowing of who you really are. And that's what this whole reading is about. We're going to cut through the bullshit here. And so I already know that I want to offer you some readings on some videos that I've done on shame. And I think it's time for you to start to journal. And you're going to learn through those videos of how to journal from your shame and how to get in touch with your shame. And it's time to release that stuff that you've been carrying around. And so what's going to happen? What's going to happen? How is your life going to change once you start dealing with these belief systems and this unworthiness that you've been sitting with here? Well, here's the Ace of Wands. This is the ace over here. You need to start to, how are you going to take your life? We want to look at, the universe wants you to take this wand right here, right? I know there's a resistance to taking it. I know there's a resistance to taking your life in that new direction. Sometimes when we've lived our life so many years believing we were a certain way, we are a certain way about ourselves, it's hard to finally take that new wand and say, you know what? It's time for you to start believing something else about yourself. It's time for you to turn this around. Take that wand into this new direction. And you're going to look at this 5 of Swords. You're going to look at that 5 of Swords. We had the 7 of Swords. Did the 5 of Swords show up somewhere else? Yeah, here it was right here. That's what was sitting in your shadow. That's that 5 of Swords, that shame card. The universe wants you to look at the shame. Here's the shame card that's come up for us. The universe wants you to take that wand. You're going to take your life into a new direction by looking at that shame and starting to feel it. Fool card comes out next. Fool card doesn't come out often in my deck. And when it does come out, it's like time. It's time to trust. It's time to have that innocence of a child again and to jump off that cliff. Time to believe that the universe wants to take you into this new direction and trust that this is going to take you somewhere. I know that it's really hard to trust sometimes, especially when you've been feeling this shitty about yourself. That's what shame does to us, makes us feel really shitty. But it's time now. The universe wants you to trust that this is going to go somewhere. And you have this 10 of Cups here, which is the full range of emotions, right? And it's in reverse here. The universe wants you to feel all of your emotions. Emotions are meant to flow in. We deal with them, we process them, and they flow out. They're not meant to get stuck. And when we were younger, they did get stuck in our body because they were too big for us to handle. But the universe wants you to realize now you're an adult. You can feel all of these emotions now. You can feel the shame that your younger child couldn't feel when they were younger. It's time now to start to feel these emotions. I want you also to learn how to ground, to get back in your body, out of your head, because you're very much in your head still believing all of this stuff about yourself. So I want you to start to get into your body where your truth is, where your emotions of shame are. So I'm going to offer you some videos on shame, and I'm going to offer you, and that'll deal with some journaling in there, and also videos on grounding yourself to get back into your body. And I'm also going to pull a card for you, Scorpio. An oracle card for Scorpio. One final card here to end this beautiful reading that we have for Scorpio today. And this is get back to elemental. So let's see what they say about getting back to elemental. The elements in most magic circles are earth, fire, air, water, and spirit. And these elements create all matter in life. It's time to break things down into their simplest elements and get back to your roots. What are the basics of what you're building? If you're a seasoned creator, what was your original plan or your original dream? There's a likelihood that you've grown since you began your journey, and it may be time to shift your plans so that they may make more sense for you now. Get back to the basics of exploring the world like a child and seeing things in you. There's the Fool. Childlike innocence here. We talked about the Ace of Wands. This is your, a new direction, finding out who you were. Take another look at what you're already doing and what you've already done, and take special notice of the magic that you already have access to. It may be time to cut any extra drama, networking, and extracurriculars that aren't 100% aligned with your basics, and call in the elements as you get back to your own kind of elemental. What quintessential desire runs through everything that you do, and what always remains the same? Wow. And that's when you got to work through that shame bullshit and all that stuff you've been told about yourself, because there's an Ace of Wands, a creator card, a different direction for you that wants to come in here, because you need to get to the truth of who you really are, not what you've been telling yourself. So Scorpio, I want you to have compassion for yourself this month for what you're working through. This is a difficult journey, but it's the most important journey of your life. Take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye.